Madness. Today we're playing Alien Trilogy on the PlayStation 1. This is a first-person shooter, kind of in line with Doom, except instead of demons, you're fighting aliens and face huggers and androids, and that's about it that I think you fight. And maybe the Weyland-Yutani mercenaries or something. I don't know. It's called Alien Trilogy, but it really doesn't have much to do with the movies in terms of story. I mean, it has things that are in the movies, but it's like if Aliens was stretched into 3 separate campaigns that just went on and kind of took place in environments that are somewhat similar to the movies, but it's like Aliens. I mean, if you watch the first Alien, you didn't see a dropship like that. And Aliens takes place like 50 years later, so it's more or less like Aliens. My personal opinion, I don't think it holds the test of time. I think it was great when it was new. But you know what? As much as people like to hate on Alien Colonial Marines, I think that's a better game. I think this is still fun, but I don't think it really holds a test of time. It has the old PlayStation controls, kind of like how Medal of Honor, the first one, did. And they fixed it in Medal of Honor Underground, but it's hard to go back to non-dual analog stick controls, and I'm a lot worse at the game, and maybe that's why I don't think it holds a test of time. I mean, it's super hard too, and it's not forgiving. I mean, I don't ever dock a game for being hard, but I'm just saying it is hard. But yeah, I just don't think it stands the test of times in terms as I don't think it's as good as I remember. Not saying it's bad, it's not as good as I remember. There's plenty of games that are like that though. I'm gonna set it on the easiest difficulty since I'm making a video. We're gonna start the game. But yeah, it's almost like this game takes place in a different universe. It doesn't have anything in common with the Aliens games, and really not until Aliens and Alien Isolation. I don't really think, maybe the one on Commodore 64 and the Aliens on Commodore 64, but a lot of the side-scrolling games never really had a lot to do with the movies. Like all the Alien 3 games are more like Aliens with the Alien 3 universe. Like, I guess Aliens makes the best video game, really, to be honest with you. This game's relatively easy to find if you want to play it. But it's just kind of, it's not bad, and I hate that I had to wait for a demo to play. But it's fine. We gotta watch the same screen over again. It controls well, I mean, for its time. And, you know, when this game came out, I think I still had a Sega Genesis, so the game probably blew my mind when it first came out. If you play on original PlayStation, it's not going to look as smooth on the TV. I did select smoothing for this. I don't even know the controls. The draw distance leaves a little to be desired. Some people can say, well, that adds to the horror aspect. And you know what? You could be right, because I don't know what the hell's ahead of me. You got the radar from the Alien films. And this game, which I guess is pretty realistic to the concept of the movie, you can't walk over the enemies because you'll burn an asset. You only can blow up those barrels. I wonder if I can turn the brightness up on this. If I can't, I'm sorry. I can't do it. Sorry. But you have like the radar system from Aliens as well. It's a very Aliens-oriented game. You have pulse rifles in this game and everything. Ripley didn't have a gun in Alien. There was only one alien in Alien. If you played Alien Isolation, that's how a first-person Alien game should be like. But you know, this is PlayStation 1. It's a game that you didn't have before, a first-person shooter Alien game. Fairly new concept at the time. Especially since Doom came out, first-person shooters are all the rage. Where the hell did that face hugger go? It's nice to not have an instant kill in Alien Isolation. If the face hugger came on you, it'd be an instant kill. Which I guess is accurate to the movies, you know. But I mean, the controls are a little bit clunky in this, so one hit kills and probably not something you would want. I'm not used to the controls, so you'll have to forgive me when I'm trying to figure out what to do. X to change your weapon, that's such a weird thing. You only can blow up barrels with this. One thing that they did kind of get right is that it's kind of like a survival game in the sense that you can run out of ammo fairly easy. You see that aliens are kind of dumb. They're like the demons in Doom. You can die really easy in this game, and unless you save, you have no continues and you have to restart the level from scratch. Which isn't very desirable if you really get in the thick of things. I'm better. I was better when this game was new because, you know, now I'm not used to the controls and whatnot. But I mean, now the game's sort of hard for me. I mean, it was hard back then too, but it's a lot harder for me now. And I don't know, on this particular television, it's sort of hard for me to see. Hopefully it'll show up better on YouTube. I don't know. I wish there was a brightness option in the actual game. Maybe they wanted it to be this dark. I know you have a flashlight that you get later on in the game. I know when Mark Bustler from Classic Game Room played this game, he played it with a code on it that had like unlimited ammo or whatever, which I imagine would make the game more fun, but it makes it more tense when you don't really have a lot of weapons and ammunition. I can't even see what I'm doing. I should have turned the lights off. The reflection on my TV is really bad when the screen's dark, so I'm really looking at my face, which isn't really what I want to see right now. The music reminds me of the old Sega CD games, but I mean, I guess that makes sense because even though this was on a new system, it was around the time shortly after the Sega CD was out for a few years, so I guess they were still making those kind of, how do we fill up the disc soundtrack? So there's like a lot of live music with guitar riffs in it. I'm so used to pushing X as fire buttons in PlayStation games. The X in this game changes your weapon, and I keep on getting hit by accident because of it. I know that I'm not very good at this game. I'm not fooling anyone. Fucking face hugger, I swear. At least you can hear them. The sounds in this game are pretty decent. Soundtrack, although catchy in a weird 90s sort of way, is actually kind of cool, but it doesn't fit the game, in my opinion. So this is like Doom where you can't look up or down. So you gotta definitely rely on your radar. This has the auto aim system like Doom would have. I only have 20 things of health. If I walk over one of those things, it's gonna kill me. Man, I wish I would have turned off my TV. Battery required, so I didn't go into a room. That's essentially what this game is. It's just the fine switches and things to put inside of the Switch. I can't fault this game. It's an early PlayStation game. I mean, they tried to do something with the Aliens universe, which is cool because beside a shitload of Alien 3 games that came out, there weren't a lot of Alien games to come out, especially by the time this came out. I don't think Alien Resurrection was out yet. They did come out with a PlayStation 1 Alien Resurrection, which is hard as shit as well, but that game has a surprising amount of control options. Not only does it support dual analog control, but it also supports the PlayStation mouse, which I've never actually seen in real life, but I know it exists because the game supports it. So you actually can have mouse controls in that game, which is quite unique. I'm gonna end up dying. Gosh dang it. Now I gotta try not to walk across those things. And there's something else in there, and I keep on pushing the wrong buttons. Alright. That means that there's probably a face hugger around here somewhere. Yep, I just saw it. I don't know its sex. Have a sex? I don't know, because they just kind of incubate. Like alien embryos in people. No. Is that it? Oh man, this is tense. I only got 15 health. Med pack would be greatly appreciated around this point in time. Never forget that noise, and since they're using the movie sound effects, and the noises, and wow, I miss it every single time. The noise is distinctive because it's like in every Aliens game. Because one good thing about this game is the sounds are authentic, which I like. Well, this isn't like a bad game, it's just a product of its time. If it was a bad game, I wouldn't have bought it. But it's not as good as I remember, but a lot of games aren't, and doesn't mean that they're bad, so if you're a fan of this game, I'm not trying to like dog it or anything, or say that it's a bad game. Definitely need to turn the brightness up, but I don't think I have. It's not gonna matter for the video because if I turn the brightness up on my TV, it's obviously not gonna record that. We got a nice little map system that kind of keeps you in line. I always end up going in the wrong directions. I wish instead of a square it was an arrow, so it showed me which way I was facing or going. Nope, didn't want to go that way. Yep, this is where I want to go. peers that have been here before and try not to step on the mess. One thing about this game that I think it does, I can't remember 100% sure, we'll find out in a little while, I hope. Unless I forgot to get the fucking battery again, which I probably did. Nope, I forgot it. I didn't forget it, I mean, I can't tell what I was picking up. I just picked up a bunch of stuff, and since I was talking, I wasn't paying attention to the actual, what the text was saying that I was picking up. But I think you're stuck with whatever health and weapons you had in the previous level, which makes this game pretty difficult. Yep. So I'm starting this level at 30 health on the second level, which is pretty bad. And we got this fucking room that's probably gonna kill We got steam obstacles. I'm almost dead. I must be impregnated because it looks like it died after it hit me. Man, I'm not used to these controls. If I got used to these controls and I turned up the brightness a little bit, I think I could enjoy the game a bit more. But since I'm trying to play through several games, it's hard to get used to, especially when a lot of the games you play have similar control schemes. It's nice that the game has weapons. Too bad I don't know how to shoot any of them all that well. Must not have the switch to activate that. It's a random barrier. I'm sure there's probably barrels behind it. My main problem with this game is I'm not used to the controls, and when I see the aliens, I get nervous. I just died. There's some early pre-rendered cutscenes for you there. That's Alien Trilogy for the PlayStation 1. I'm normally not that bad, but I'm never that good either. But, yeah, it's not a terrible game. I think that the Medal of Honor games are better first-person shooters, but that's really comparing two different types of games. This is a lot closer to, say, Doom or something like that. Even though it's called Alien Trilogy, it really doesn't have anything in common with the movie storylines. But, you know, if you find it and you're curious about it, I wouldn't talk you out of it. It's not a terrible game, it's not bad, and it's always cool to visit the Aliens universe. Just don't expect, like, that much authenticity. Like, the sounds and stuff are accurate, but that's about it. It's an early PlayStation game. You gotta get used to early PlayStation controls without analog sticks and stuff like that, which might be hard for a lot of you. It's hard for me just because I've been playing other games, but if I actually sat down and played it for a little while and got used to it, it probably I'd probably get used to it like I used to play all the time. And another thing is the game is extremely difficult. At least it is for me, and I know it is for other people as well, but I can't speak for everybody because some people are just really good at video games. But yeah, it's not the best game in the world. It's not the worst. It's kind of in the middle. I picked it up, obviously, and I played it before. It's not as good as I remember, but it's not terrible. So it's one of those games you got to really just decide on yourself if you're a collector or just into PlayStation 1 games. But I mean, I don't know. like I said, like it's like Doom, and I know Doom on PlayStation is actually pretty decent if you want a first-person shooter this caliber, but not caliber of this type of first-person shooter. But if you want the Aliens universe, there's this game and Alien Resurrection, which is actually pretty good. That one's just really hard as well. And Alien Resurrection, in my opinion, wasn't the best Aliens movie. This one kind of has the weapons and stuff from the old Aliens movie, so you gotta weigh your pros and cons if you had to pick an Aliens game. But I don't see Alien Resurrection that much, so that's not as common. So this one you'll probably run into more, and I'd say if you're curious, give it a shot, you know? But yeah, so that's Alien Trilogy. If you guys like the video, please feel free to click the thumbs up button and feel free to leave a comment, positive or negative. And if you like this game, I'm not shitting on it or saying that it's bad or anything. I'm just saying it's not the best first-person shooter on PlayStation 1 in my opinion. I try to be honest with you, and I try not to dog games either, because there's really not a lot of terrible unplayable games out there like everybody tries to make you think there is on the internet to try to get views, because people love negativity on the internet. But it's fun. Look at these trailers or demos. There's a lot of stuff going on, and that person playing happens to be way better than me because they're used to the control scheme. But yeah, just make sure if you do leave a negative comment that the criticism is constructive. Look at the dog elements from the Alien Trilogy. I haven't seen this lately, but it has nice textures for a PlayStation 1 game. And yeah, like, if you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe, although I know you know how to subscribe, but I'm suggesting it anyway. And for those of you who have supported the channel, thank you so much. Alien Trilogy for the PlayStation 1. Check it out if you're curious. It's a pretty fun first-person shooter. Alright, talk to you guys later. Bye.